Still trying to throw the ball. On first and goal, second and goal. Panicking at third. Fourth, I'm wishing for a muff.
Welcome to the 5-1 Huddle podcast. It's your host, Coach Zay. We got Coach Dlane in the house, man. How you feeling today, Dlane?
Feeling good, baby. How y'all doing out there, man? Thank you for tuning in.
Man, we got a lot for y'all for this pod. Episode 7. Thank you for listening, growing with us. We got a top 10 pick mock draft. We got special guests on for you, Devin Gray from the Atlanta Falcons. And we're going to talk NFL news from this prior week.
Let's talk football.
All right, so Dlane wanted me to make sure this was clear. This is my Coach Zay's mock draft. He's going to comment on the players I have selected for each team. I went with this mock draft. I did a lot of study. I did team needs. I looked at Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft on NFL Network. I watched my film on these players, and I'm going to give you, a player comp who I feel each player represents. So let's get into it. So with the first pick, we got the Cardinals taking Kyler Murray. I feel like this news is not a surprising pick. It came out, Tom Pelissero said the Cards are looking for a first-round pick to trade Josh Rosen. They got Chargers, Giants, and Patriots have reached out to trade for Josh Rosen. I think Kyler Murray, I feel like it's a good pick for Kingsbury offense. How do you feel about it, Dlane?
I definitely see the fit. Him and Kyler and Cliff have a connection going back to his high school days. When Cliff been trying to recruit this kid, I definitely see the fit for his system. So we're just waiting on any day now to see when Rosen's going to get moved. I highly doubt that they'll get a first for him. I like the determination of holding on to him through the season to get it, but I think ultimately they'll be settling for like a second-round pick for Rosen.
Yeah, I definitely think they're not going to get a first-round pick. I think they'll get a second-round pick, no problem. I don't see how they can – that's really cutthroat to hold them through the season, OTAs. With quarterback, it's a weird field. That's your team leader, so it's kind of, put your team in an awkward situation when you got a 2 first-round pick back-to-back QBs on the same team. But we'll see how that goes. How do you feel about my player comp? Watching Kyler Murray, I think he's just a smaller. When I say smaller, I mean a thinner version of Russell Wilson. He doesn't have the weight Russell has. They're about the same height, but they play a similar game.
Yeah, he's not thick. Plays a similar game. I think he's faster though, a lot quicker than Russ. So yeah, good player comp. I agree with it.
Definitely. So next we're gonna move with the second pick in the draft. We got the 49ers. So I've seen a lot of mock drafts. Everyone, kind of has Nick Bosa as the guaranteed, top player in the draft, first pick if the Cardinals don't take Kyler Murray. I went a different route here, and I'm going to tell you guys why. So I got the Niners taking Josh Allen. The reason is because I believe the 49ers, the last 2 years, they've been hit a lot by injury. From Jimmy Garoppolo to Buckner to Armstead. They haven't had a lot of players not stay healthy. Josh Allen's production in college is, outstanding, And I also believe the Niners brass wants to go with a safe pick and a pick, with no injury concerns. I believe Nick Bosa has a lot of injury concerns. He was tore his ACL in high school. He was hurt in college, and his brother has had injury concerns in college and in the pros. And on top of that, their father had injury problems. So what do you feel about? How do you feel about that?
Tapped into my man whole bloodline.
Oh yeah, Google.
It's all good. Google, man. Allen, after watching some cut-ups and film on him, I don't really see the need for Allen with the Niners. I see what you were saying, where you was going as far as they could have a nasty D line. They got Forrest Buckner there. Who else they got? They got D Ford, Armstead, Thomas. Yeah. So I see that lineup right there. That would be nasty. But I just think they got other concerns as far as who's their explosive receiver, stretch the field ball, stretch the offense downfield. Shanahan likes to push the ball. Who can you name me their safeties? Can you name me their corners? I think they just got other areas of concern. But if they was to go with D tackle or D line, I definitely prefer Bosa after I did some homework on all these guys up front. Bosa and Ed Oliver and Quinnen Williams was that was my 1, 2, 3 in order, D lineman. But I like Allen though. Allen's long. He's athletic. My favorite thing I really liked about him is he's a game changer because he knows how to get that ball out. And everybody knows Coach Lane about getting that ball out and creating turnovers, man. And I definitely like that aspect of his game.
I definitely believe, Nick Bosa, without the injury concerns, for me, he would be my top player. But your best attribute as an athlete, I'm pretty sure everyone been told that, are you available? Bo Jackson could be the best running back of all time. Sean Taylor could have been the best RP, player of all time, but you have to be available. I think Josh Allen, for me, the thing that stood out, one, he was in the SEC, and his production went up every year. As a true freshman, he played 3 games, had a half a sack in 3 games, and half a tackle for a loss. But you go into the sophomore, junior seasons, he exploded, 7 sacks, 4 fumbles. And then went to the senior year and said, you know what, I'm going to get that bag. 17 sacks, 21 and tackles for a loss.
So he's coming out early, 17?
No, he played 4 years.
4 years, okay.
Yeah. He's never missed a start in college, so no injury concerns, was never hurt in high school. And I just believe he gets better every year.
Cause I think me and you had the same question for him. What did you see him as far as a hand in the dirt guy or stand up? And I thought he was more of a stand up after watching some film on him, and I seen more of a finesse rusher than power. But he has a little power though.
I agree with you, your take on that. Josh Allen definitely. I think that's the biggest question. I put in my notes: is he a 3-4 defensive end or a 4-3? And that, for the listeners, that's huge. Because a 3-4 Russian linebacker is usually your smaller, your Von Miller type of player. It's a smaller Russian linebacker. Your 4-3, they're usually like your Khalil Max, your Cameron Wake, Daniel Hunter, Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones plays 3-4, but he can play 4-3 as well. The bigger, the 270, to 260 DNs. I think he weighed in at 255. So, Josh Allen, he's an interesting prospect. I put his player comp, the high end to me is Von Miller. The biggest question mark, is he 3-4 or 4-3? The Niners run 4-3. So that's where I know they could go with Nick Bosa, pick a player. But like you said, they have a lot of needs, Dlane. So the best situation for the Niners would be to trade back, all honesty. They have a lot of needs, collect some extra picks, and trade back. So, yeah, we're going to move on. We got the Jets with the 3rd pick. I believe they take Nick Bosa if he's there. Easy to pair him with Leonard Williams on that D-line. They added defensive pieces with C.J. Mosley this year. They had a running back, so I think they'll go with that direction. Let's play defense, help our young quarterback out, Sam Darnold, and run the ball with Bell. I think, the only problem I have with Nick Bosa is injury concerns. The production, it wasn't there as far as his brother, many sacks, but his first 2 years were pretty dominant on tape. We're just not going to count his last year. He was hurt again, but he could have came back in the season if he was a guy that wasn't a top 5 lock. So, I'm not going to put that production against him. Definitely. My only problem is injury concerns, like I said. My player comp for him was different than a lot of people. To me, he reminds me a lot of Michael Bennett. I believe he misses that quick twitch for me, rushing the passer. So I believe, he'll be that 9 to 11 sack guy per year. But I don't think he'll ever be, that 15-plus sack guy. How you feel about it, Dlane?
Man, the Jets got to take this, man. Because at this point, when you're sitting there at 3, it's not about need, it's about the best player on the board. And to me, barring injury concerns, like you already said, Nick Bosa's clear number 1 to me. When I was watching him on film, I love his get off. He has size, speed, and power. He has it all for a rusher that I've seen. I've seen him defeat a few double teams and chip blocks. So the man's getting off blocks. And what I really liked about him, and I didn't watch a lot of film on his brother from college, but from what I've seen so far, is Nick is very gap sound. He wasn't out of position a lot when I was watching him. And that's a big thing for run defense and stopping the run. A lot of people, it's real easy to stop the run. Everybody got a gap. You hit your gap. There's nowhere for the runner to go. So that's always a plus when you're getting a talented guy with his talent, and he's able to stay disciplined. I really like that. What else I had down for him? I think he can play inside and outside, but I see him more of an edge guy, because he can be contained. He's strong, like we said, and powerful. He can set the edge, and he can get after the quarterback. Just got to take this, man, and it'll be a great new toy for my guy. The DC is Greg Williams, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Greg would probably do some things with that guy right there.
Definitely, I agree. So we're going to move on to the 4th pick in the draft. I got the Raiders here at this spot taking Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver, to me, in my opinion, he is the best player in the draft, the safest player in the draft. I believe Nick Bosa is right behind him. But Ed Oliver, it's just pure dominance when you watch the tape. I don't watch a game where he does not dominate. You can put on watches 2.5 years. He missed a little bit. His junior year, partly due because he was saving his body to prepare for the draft. Uh, but I think Ed Oliver is the can't miss prospect. He's a freak. He's dominated, can play the whole D line, and this is just off the tape. So when I did these notes, it was earlier in the week on Monday. He did not do his pro day. So I came across, he did his pro day. To me, this is the most impressive performance we've seen this combine pro day season. DK Metcalf set it off, but what Ed Oliver did with a 4.740 at 285, a 4.22 shuttle. For people who don't understand shuttles, I'll put this in perspective. It was 4.19 official. Ed Oliver's shuttle was faster than Sean Jackson and Saquon Barkley's. That's all I need to say.
Man, Ed, he flashed. I remember watching him towards the tail end of last season for Houston. I would love for the Raiders to get him. I wouldn't be surprised if they go Williams either, but I think out of the two, Oliver is better. When I was watching tape, I liked both of them equally. The Williams kid from Alabama. Oliver's a little smaller, like you said, and he's real quick. Got a quick get off. He's strong, high motor. But for him, even though he's small and he's real quick, you might say edge. I actually liked him on the inside. I actually liked him in the nose because he's disruptive. And I say the same thing about Donald. You're closer to the quarterback when you're inside. If you're that strong and disruptive, man, you collapse in that pocket on these pocket QBs. So Raiders, that would be a great pickup. I wouldn't be mad at you if you go Williams either. But Oliver, for sure, right here. It's a good pick. 6'1", 287. Big athlete. Take him.
I like how you're on the same page with me. Our player count for him was Aaron Donald. It's almost like a clone. If you go back and watch Aaron Donald at Pitt, he's a clone. Ed Oliver can be that special player. Let's take a look back at this, past year in NFL. I think we could be switching directions to the age of the interior pass rusher. Chris Jones had 14.5 sacks from the D tackle position. Aaron Donald had 20 sacks. So I think we could be moving to the age of the new pass rusher interior. All right, so next we're going to go into the 5th pick with the Buccaneers, and this is where we got our guy Quinnen Williams going. Again, I think he's a player that you can't really miss on in this draft. Good technique. He plays hard. He's smart. He might be the smartest defensive player in this draft if you watch his film. I don't think he bit on a screen all year. Went straight to it. Quick feet. Has the production. The only knock on Quinnen Williams for me is I don't really hold 1 year of production on him, 1 year starter. It's Alabama, so if to be a 1 year starter there, it's not different. It would be different if he was at Oregon State or something, different.
Yeah, but Alabama 2s and 3s is better than some of these other colleges 1s.
Definitely,
so he getting some good reps in practice.
Definitely. So like I was saying, the 1 year production is not big for me, and Dlane, we all know they're 2s and 3s. Probably get drafted this year, But my big problem is I don't think he's a 2-gap D tackle. When you watch Quinnen Williams, he does not play to his size. He played at 288, he said during the season. He's not a strong 288. He refused to do the bench press. Not refused. He did not do the bench press at the combine or at his pro day. So he weighed in at 303. That isn't his playing weight. So I have questions about his interior play as far as a 2-gap D tackle because he can't play the whole D line. He is a 2-gap D tackle. So his playing comp to me is Fletcher Cox if he reaches his high end. They're both big bodies with quick feet. How do you feel about that, Dlane?
I couldn't really go all the way to Fletch because Fletch is my guy and that's my eagle. So I think Fletch is the best D tackle if I'm being biased, but I like Donald. But watching Williams, Zay, I like Williams. I told you he surprised me as far as he ended up creeping up on my board, and he has great power, and great punch. I think he plays violent, and that's what I like. As far as I seen him manhandle a few old linemen when I was watching tape, and it's just like, okay, this guy. And I remember you saying he's about 280. He's small, kind of a little small, 288, like you said. Playing on the inside, you might have to beef that up over 300 if you're gonna stay in the league and sustain on the inside in the league. But I thought he had good technique, and I thought he was just violent. I thought he was real great with his hands, chopping, breaking through double teams, whatever to get the job done. I thought he was great with his hands. 6'3", he weighed in at 6'3", 303 for the combine. So
I have a question for you, Dlane. Do you think he can play that 3 tech if he doesn't get his weight up, or you think he's strictly a 2-gap D tackle based on his film?
Like you said, if he reaches the high end of his ceiling, he can get there. Right now, I just see inside. I just see right now.
I'm on the same page with you. So let's go on to the next pick. We got the Giants. I believe the Giants here. Initially, my belief, I feel like the Giants are going to be the team to trade for Josh Rosen. Their organization, GM, owner has taken a lot of heat for the trade of Odell Beckham. Not just the trade of him, the compensation they got for him is terrible. So I think they're taking a lot of heat. I think they're going to be the team to trade for Josh Rosen. We'll wait and see. But for now, I got them taking Dwayne Haskins. There's no way they're rolling out Eli again this year. I hope not. So they got him taking Dwayne Haskins. What I like about him, he's a great pocket thrower, the best pocket thrower in the draft. Can make all the throws, smooth release. He's confident and composed. You always want your quarterback to be composed in the pocket. Doesn't look rattled. My weaknesses for him or improvements he needs is he's very raw, has very few starts, does not throw the ball well under pressure when he actually, the pocket closes. His feet are very slow, extremely slow. And like I said, has not had a lot of playing time. I think he's not year one ready, but I definitely think he'll be, one of those players like a Pat Mahomes that needs to sit. How do you feel about him, Coach Dlane?
After watching Haskins today, I love him more than what I did before watching him. I love his release, smooth, quick release. I've been following Louis Riddick on Twitter, so I was watching and peeping some of his takes on Haskins, and I agree. He got nice frame. I see what Zay's saying as far as sitting duck in the pocket. He doesn't have great mobility, but he's very accurate with the ball. That's something I don't think you can teach. Like I say, he has a good release. Whenever he is moving in the pocket, he's always keeping his eyes downfield, looking to get the ball downfield. I think he has all the tools you need for an NFL quarterback, pocket quarterback. But the one question I do have is Urban Meyer's quarterbacks. They haven't done well when they translated to the NFL. So and he only has 1 year of experience. So those would be my question marks on him. But I love his release. I do see where you can kind of say he needs to sit for a year, maybe, or maybe a few games, come off the bench, and see how it is to play the game at the next level behind a vet. But I really hope Gettleman and them guys in New York do not roll out Eli again. That would be bad for the New York fan base, man. Them guys should
not just the New York fan, the football fan base. I don't want to watch him. When I'm watching this Sunday, when I got my NFL Red Zone going on, first of all, all I can watch is Saquon now. They ain't got nobody else on the team.
They gonna run my guy into the ground.
But I think you made your best point. I like that you said about Dwayne Haskins is that Urban Meyer's never had a successful quarterback in the NFL. His best successful quarterback, we got to go back to Alex Smith. And me personally, I believe Alex Smith got saved by Andy Reid. So we'll see how Dwayne Haskins, everything goes. I don't think he'll be. That's a really good point, Dlane, the more I'm thinking about it, because we've had Tim Tebow. He had Leach from the Florida days, Barrett, Cardale Jones.
And his system is not like they playing no weak system where they just throwing hitches and slants, or they're playing in a handicapped system. He's pushing the ball down the field. So, like I said, I don't know what it is. They're just not translating. But I'm a fan of Urban Meyer, so I'm not knocking Urban. Sure, fan of Urban. And yeah, I love his release. Doesn't have great feet, but if he gets into the right situation, I think Haskins can be a hell of a quarterback because, like I said, he's extremely accurate, and that's something you cannot teach.
Yeah, so we're going to our next pick with the Jaguars. I got DK Metcalf going here. To me, this is going to be one of the biggest surprises in the top 10. Reason being, if you look at the Jaguars roster, they're loaded on defense. They got their quarterback in Nick Foles. They have Leonard Fournette. There's two options here. They can draft the O-lineman, which I believe would be a reach. There's no good tackles in this draft, no first rounds. So I believe they'll take DK Metcalf. They're going to take a boomer bust prospect. Nick Foles is someone that needs big receivers and excels well with big receivers. He has a big arm. Metcalf did not have a QB at Ole Miss. I think this would be a great fit for Metcalf. The questions are, for me with Metcalf, he has the speed. He has the breakaway speed, the elite measurables. He has a lot of room to grow. He's gotten better every year. The two big things kind of kind of for me are his injury concerns is major. That's the biggest problem before anything, and needs to work on catching the easy passes. How do you feel about him, Dlane?
Metcalf, yeah. So we killed the combine. Had a great 40 time and whatnot. But they didn't mention his shuttle and his 3-cone was one of the worst amongst his position group. So I have question marks about his ability to get in and out of breaks. He didn't run many routes when he was at Ole Miss. And my main thing with him, to be that size, to have that size and that frame, you were almost a man amongst boys in college, and I didn't really see the domination factor like you would have thought of, right? Is it just me? Like when you watch it, like you would have thought like when you walk Metcalf out on that field, coach, and you line your corner up against him, it's like a grown ass man versus a little boy, and it's like you just didn't see the domination.
To defend Metcalf, I would say this: his QB will never take a snap in the NFL, not even get a look. He's terrible. So I would say that. The second point is A.J. Brown was on the underside. So unlike, for example, I'll give you N'Keal Harry. Every play, their whole offense was schemed around N'Keal Harry. He's going to touch the ball at least 10 to 15 times a game. They're going to give him a screen, anything like a running back. With Ole Miss, they had A.J. Brown, they had DK Metcalf, and you see their quarterback was very underwhelming. They ran very few routes. So I see why he didn't have those big dominance. If we look back, Odell Beckham had 30 catches his year coming out. So I'm looking more at traits to be a great receiver more than production. Production at receiver, you have to either have your offense schemed around you or you have to have a top quarterback in offense. And that's just coming from the receiver standpoint. But I do see, because to me, the best receiver in the draft is Hakeem Butler. To me, he has all the tools, speed, weight. He can run the routes. He has amazing catches. He plays to his size. To me, he has the highest upside. He's the best receiver. But I believe the Jags take DK Metcalf from the combine, the measurables. And, we'll see draft day.
Yeah, I definitely see the fit, though. Like you said, Foles, dating back to his time, with Alshon, he definitely loves big bodies. He's going to put it up there for you to go get it. So, like I said, if I see that dog and that wanted factor out of Metcalf, him and Nick can do some things together for sure.
Definitely. I think as player comp, DK, like if he lives up to his hype, his combine numbers, that athlete he is, the great athlete he is, I believe he becomes Josh Gordon. Like Josh Gordon at Baylor, ran very few routes and just blew by guys. Simple. He wasn't a high pick. He was third round pick in the supplemental draft in the summer. So we'll see how that goes with the Jags. Moving on, we got the Lions. I believe they take a pass rusher here, Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat, to me, as far as the D lineman pass rushers, he's not the most developed, but he has one of the highest upsides. I've seen some reports believe that he can be that quick. Some people have compared him to Alden Smith as far as he has the longest arms out in the pass rushers, good punts, quick off the line. JUCO product, so shout out to all my JUCO products. So you got some dog in him. He went SEC out of JUCO, so that says something.
JUCO products, we support.
Definitely. 11.5 sacks coming out, high upside. I compare him to Daniel Hunter. He's a DN for the Vikings. When Daniel Hunter came out of college, I believe he had 8 career sacks out of LSU. He got to the Vikings. They made him into a pure pass rusher, getting him more moves, more developed. Now he's a double-digit sack guy the last 3 years. How do you feel about Montez Sweat?
This the guy that ran a 4.41.
Mm-hmm.
He ran a 4.41 at the combine. That's crazy. Weighed in at 260, and he's how tall?
About 6'5", I believe.
6'5", okay.
Yeah, he's big.
Okay, looking at the reps. I didn't see no bench press reps here because he's kind of small. He played on the inside, didn't he?
No, he played outside. He's rushing. Yeah, rushing. He was, like I said, Montez Sweat, he's not. He needs to add a little more muscle, and he needs to develop more of a pass rushing game. But he has long arms, so he was just punching and flying off the line.
Okay.
This past season with Mississippi State. What I'm thinking right now is two things. Just going through, we're looking at top players. We see this, there's a lot of guys coming out the SEC. We got Montez Sweat. We got the Florida guy, Polite, had a horrible combine. We got Allen, Quinnen Williams. Was the O-line that bad, or are these players that good? Because we don't have a single O-lineman going. We don't have a top-tier lineman this year in this draft, like a no-brainer first-round pick lineman. Mm-hmm. Everyone else are projects.
Yeah, that's crazy because the SEC usually roll them out because, they like to run that ball over there and hold up.
Oh yeah.
in the past game. But yeah, that's shocking to me, man. I think these guys are just some talented young men.
Special
Especially,
group.
special group of pass rushers in this draft for sure. I can't remember the last loaded pass rushing draft like this, and I'm trying to think. Was it Von Miller? Didn't somebody else come out with Von? A few other guys. It was a draft a couple years ago where about 4 or 5
I think
came out.
in Von Miller's draft,
Or was it Donald's draft?
No, it was Von Miller because they had McCoy from the Bucks come out with that class. Remember?
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a bunch of was Sue in that draft as well?
Not sure.
No, Sue's an older guy. He was before because he was like the I believe McCoy and Sue were in the same draft.
Okay.
Oh no, it was Darius. Marcel Darius and and Sue
he went
from
to
Alabama,
Buffalo, right?
Yeah, he went to Buffalo.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they man. If I was a GM, I'd definitely be trying to get my hands on one of these guys, man. Because like we said, most 2 important positions on the field is quarterback and a pass rusher.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We're gonna move on to the Bills. I believe the Bills they're now trying to build over Josh Allen. They have some defensive pieces that they lost Williams, a long time D tackle, a good player. So I believe they're gonna go offense, and I believe they take Noah Fant. Now, 9th overall, a lot of people probably say that's a little too high for a tight end. This isn't a deep offensive draft. So I believe Noah Fant, to me, is one of the top players in the draft and one of the can't-miss players. And when I say can't miss, I believe has the highest chance of just succeeding overall. This is a gamble. It's a lottery. Not everyone we say, Nick Bosa could be one of the worst players in the NFL. We don't know that, but we believe it's a high chance. That's highly likely. So Noah Fant, he's a height, weight, speed, great catcher, and a good blocker. I believe he needs to add a little more weight. He needs to learn to work zone over the middle. As a tight end, it's very important to know how to work zone over the middle. As a tight end, that's very important. You got to be able to work over the middle of the field, and I think that's why the Bills are going to take Noah Fant to help Josh Allen out. He's not the most accurate thrower, so big targets like Noah Fant and targets that could work over the middle will help an inaccurate quarterback out. My player comp for him is George Kittle. It's almost a clone. George Kittle went to Iowa. They also got T.J. Hawkinson, who will be drafted in the first round as a tight end as well. It's a good tight end draft, by the way. So I believe the Bills take this. It's a little high for Noah or just a tight end position, but if you feel you need a player for Josh Allen to help your QB, you got to take it. How you feel about it, Coach?
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of the Bills. Let me stop lying. But I watched a few clips, a lot of play of Allen, and they need him. Either he needs some help with his own play, or he need to help them. They need to get him some help because I'm not like what I'm seeing from him. I didn't really like him as a quarterback coming into the draft last year, but I like the fine kid. I think the one thing about him that I always felt about tight ends, you gotta have that bulk. Like you say, you need to get bigger. Cause I used to hate tight ends guarding them at safety when they do the push off. They always try to run right at you, but you gotta have some size to do that. Cause I didn't grab some tight ends too, so he definitely got bulk up. Cause I seen him get knocked off his routes a couple of times when I was watching him play, and just develop more as a blocker. And I think we'll see him shine and develop a little more within a better offense because they're pretty vanilla at Iowa. I think in a more, a little more better system, he'll be able to accomplish some more things for sure.
But that's great points. I agree. I mean, Josh Allen, he's very athletic. To me, honestly, he's like the white Cam Newton. Extremely athletic, big. I think Cam Newton's a little better thrower, but I believe Josh Allen can maybe develop into at least a 60% completion thrower. We're going to the last pick, the 10th pick. The top 10 picks is the Broncos. And I believe they take Devin White. They lost Brandon Marshall, the long-term middle linebacker. I believe they need to keep addressing defense since John Elway has been the general manager of the Broncos. Defense has been a great standpoint for him, basically. He always had a good defense, and he's going to load his defense up. Devin White, to me, as a prospect, athletic. He's a 3-down linebacker, fast to the ball, great in pass coverage. My favorite things of watching him in tape is he amazing burst to the hole. He feels that hole. He flies. But weakness for him is, I believe, his instincts. So like I said, he'll fly to the hole. Well, sometimes he'll fly to the wrong hole and cut back on the counter. So he needs to work on his instincts. And that being said, most people say your inside linebacker needs to work on instincts. He won't be a good player. Well, Devin White played halfback, running back all through high school in Louisiana, was never played linebacker until he got to LSU. He's gotten better every year, so I feel like his room to grow, his ceiling has not even been touched yet. So I believe he'll be a good player, an impact player. My player comp from him is Miles Jack. If you remember Miles Jack in UCLA, the athleticism was all over the field. He played running back too at UCLA. So I think he'll be a good player. How do you feel about him, Coach Dlane?
Yeah, flies to the ball quick. Transition from running back. I remember hearing about his name a little bit with my time being in Louisiana. I think in the right situation, he can do some damage too. You had player comp to who?
Miles Jack.
Yeah, mine was Deion Jones, but
Yeah.
I thought he ran a little better to closing in on the run. We talked about that.
Yeah.
We thought he closed in on the run better than Deion. But I see him with this team. I don't know, Zay. I don't know. Right here with the Broncos picking him up, because didn't they just pick Chubb last year, and they picked somebody else up? Who else they get?
But I look at
Ray. I don't remember. They still
so
got
who would
him,
you?
huh?
But it's not an offensive draft. So
True.
you're doing like a lot of these teams that need offensive players, they would like to trade back. Like the Broncos. Let's say they could take a QB here. You know what? We're gonna take Drew Lock, one of these other guys. Excuse me.
That's what I have now. I wouldn't mind the Broncos getting a quarterback, even though it's not. I don't see none favorable here. But I wouldn't mind having somebody sit behind Flacco and learn. I do like Drew Lock. If he sits, behind Flacco, I can see him being one of them quarterbacks that sit down and can develop later in his career. So I wouldn't be mad if they went that route either.
Yep.
Shit.
Yeah.
The Chiefs did it.
Yeah,
Drafted high and set his ass.
That's a
Mahomes.
good point. I'm just going along with the history of John Elway's done. Like I said, this again for everyone listening. This mock draft isn't, who me and Dlane think are the best players, the top 10 players in the draft. We're just picking who we think each team will pick in their situation. And remember, the draft doesn't go by best player; it goes by team needs. Majority of the time. All right, today we got Devin Gray calling in. He's on the Atlanta Falcons, plays receiver. Was on the practice squad all year last year. He's coming in. Expect to have a big bounce back season next year. Devin Gray, a former teammate of mine in JUCO at Sierra College. We got Coach Dlane in the house. How you feeling today, man?
I'm good, Coach. Thank you, Devin, for coming to our platform. I definitely appreciate it, man. And I'm a fan. I don't know if you remember your old college teammate, Jeff. Jeff Williams was my roommate, or my college teammate in college, so he spoke to me about you quite a bit when we was in school, and we watched you play at Cincinnati. Definitely a fan.
Oh yeah, small world.
That's my brother Jeff right there. That's my brother Jeff. I talk to Jeff on the daily, man.
Yeah, good people.
What was y'all apartment number y'all called again? What was that?
1407, man. It's real legendary.
Oh, there we go. For sure.
It's legendary. 1407.
Definitely. So what are you doing right now for training to get ready for next season?
Right now, I've just been working out on the daily, just working out on my body. Going mine for off season was just gaining a little bit of weight and just basically stay strong. But I've been able. It's actually my first off season where I ain't got to worry about no class, no real responsibility. This is my livelihood now. So I've just been working out, trying to perfect my craft, really. So it's doing good. It's doing good, my brother. It's doing good.
That's good to hear, man. I know. Just to give everyone a quick background. Devin, he's from Reno, Nevada. Went to Sierra College up in Rockland. From there, went to Cincinnati, and then last year was on the practice squad at Atlanta Falcons, and his journey continues. I know Coach Dlane wanted to get into talking about the best DB you faced in college.
Yeah, Coach. I definitely want to ask you that, Coach. Dev, do you know? Can you give us college or NFL the best DB you faced?
Let's see. I would probably say, even from JUCO days, I'm sure you probably know him, Isaiah. Rashawn Dupree.
Oh, yeah.
Todd's cousin. He's one of the most athletic corners I've ever played against, and he's really what kind of molded me to be able to go to Cincinnati and be ready. We used to go out all the time, even when I came back from Cincinnati. So he's a guy that even from JUCO that to this day I think is a really good corner. And also, of course, True Fant is a great corner. He's a very smart, savvy guy, and he's all pro. He's a vet all pro. So I would say those two guys right there definitely my top two
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember. Yeah, I mean Ray. He one of the most athletic athletes I've been around, and a real competitor.
Yeah,
So that's true, man.
How about Dev? How was playing against Rob Alford? He went to my college as well, so I
oh
know you
yeah,
probably
Rock,
seen him.
yeah, Rock real. He a real OG again. He a vet, so he coming in to my rookie year, my first time on the scene. I was going against those guys every day, and it was I had a hard time at first, but they was helping me get right, and as the season progressed, I got better. Just going against them, I can say I'm a better receiver today. Just going against True and Rock every day, they vets, they real smart. They gonna teach you little stuff about the game, little nuances that you wouldn't think about, different angles, different like body movements, even like pre-snap type stuff. So you gotta be like real technique sound around those guys because they didn't see it all.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's real good insight. Thank you. I know. Next thing I want to figure out what's been the toughest part, with your transition to the NFL.
I would just say like little details here and there. Junior college and D1 college, really any college. A lot of people just use their athletic ability. The most athletic person on the field gonna probably win. As when you come to the NFL, everybody's athletic, everybody's fast, everybody jump high. It comes down to who has the best technique along with their athletic ability. So I would just say just working on my technique, just my little stuff, getting in and out of my breaks. There's a lot of timing in the NFL, so you got to make sure that you do your assignment and you're at your spot right when the quarterback needs you to be there. So just like the little stuff that people talk about, but actually just going out there and being able to do it consistently is really what's important.
Hey, Dev, this is Coach Lane again. I think you touched on some key points right there, so I think it was a perfect segue for me to ask you this question. What are some things you look for when you're watching film and you're looking at the secondary? What are some things you look for?
I'm looking I'm looking to see what tendencies a DB would have. Whether it's an off team or it's a press team. If they pressing me, I'm looking at if it's a guy who's gonna play catch technique at the DB, or is it a guy who want to get his hands on, or if you want to run with me. I'm looking to see like, do we have a quick jam just so I could just have it in the back of my mind? Because at the end of the day, you can't just go right off the film. You got to be able to react, but just having those little ideas of what guys are comfortable to. Because when the money's on the line, everybody's gonna do what they feel that they do best. So if it's third and four, I'm hitting my best release if I see it's press. So I'm trying to find out people's best tendencies, so I can kind of have an idea of what to expect. So when I'm studying film, I'm looking at that stuff. I'm looking at safeties because a lot of defense be hiding their coverages. You gotta watch try to see what safeties is doing, how they moving around, and just mostly I like to put myself in that position as if I'm on the team. I see what I would do. You feel me? So just kind of piecing everything around, trying to bring it all together, imagining what I would do if I was out there and just seeing how they playing.
Oh yeah, that's real good insight. Appreciate that. I mean, that seems. Just being around you, seeing you play. I know your releases off the line and definitely getting out your breaks is definitely part of your strong suit. Them posts, man, you undefeated with those. JUCO, college. I know, and they still be. I know you be getting them in practice with those too.
Oh yeah. You already know it's my favorite, but I can't just run straight post. I
Exactly.
gotta put a little sauce on them sometimes.
I already know, man. Definitely. What's the since being in the NFL, who's been the best pro that you've been around? Like who you feel like you learned from the most as to craft your game?
I really couldn't pick like one specific person because really our whole receiver room with the Falcons was just incredible. Really the whole team, but receiver wise, personally, like our whole room, like Hardy, Mo, and Julio, like from day one since we got there, like even all the rookies, even all of us, like from day one, they took us up under their wing, and like we was family. So like the little details and stuff I was talking to you about the game. I learned that all from them. Like they was teaching us stuff that I ain't never even think of doing, like driving back to the ball in different ways and like little things in your body, like how to be decisive. Because being a receiver is a magician, so you just trying to sell things. So just like the little details that Julio, Mo, and Justin Hardy was giving us was really everything. I couldn't even say I'm a completely different receiver than when I got there, and it's really thanks to the receiver room for real. Like they just it's really a brotherhood. Like we teach brotherhood, but like them boys really take you up under their wing. Because I wouldn't think like top guys like that wouldn't really care. You feel me?
That's real.
How an undrafted player would do coming in, but yeah, they treated everybody the same. They want everybody to do good, and they want everybody to be there to compete. So it's really, the boys really helped out everybody.
Dev, we tend to hear about they say receivers are prima donnas or divas or whatnot, but with your time being in Atlanta, you've been next to one of the best probably to ever done it. Especially right now in Julio Jones, and I just kind of want to get your insight, a little bit on him from a distance as far as is he actually that down to earth cool guy that we hear, or does he have any prima donna flashy tendencies too, like most receivers have? From a distance, I like the dude. I'm a big fan because he does seem like a cool, laid back type of person. What's your view on Julio?
Yeah, that's exactly how who he is, man. He real cool. He easy to talk to. He gonna laugh, joke around with you. It really don't matter. He real cool, down to earth. He just Julio. That's how I describe him. Like he real cool, down to earth. Our whole room preach dog mentality. So like we come in there game, like if you watch our tape, we coming down, we blocking safeties. We ain't got no prima donna type in our room. We just all work. So we all work, all dog. And that's what we preach, and that's what we go out and do on game days. And that's how we just try to be about our business. We don't really do all that talking and stuff. We just basically just do our job. That's all we here to do is just do our job and do it to the best of our abilities. And who is the captain of that? He makes sure everybody on the path of that.
I appreciate it. That's real good. I mean, seems like a blessing to be around that type of group of men and football players, and seeing that every day. I mean, speaking of that group of guys, what are your goals for this upcoming season? With those group of guys and for your offense.
I would say my goal is obviously make the 53, which would include just finding a role for the team. Special teams, you know what I'm saying? Just have a good role on special teams. I don't know what that role is going to be, but basically just find a role for the team, man. That'd be my best way I could get back to them boys because, that's my family right now. And I've been working with them all season. I love the Falcons, so just finding a role for me would be my best goal for the team for real. So just however they need me, I'll run down on kickoffs, blocking, catching routes. Feel me? Just find a role. So that's gonna be my goal for this upcoming OTAs, training camp, and preseason. I'm gonna get a lot of reps, so that's gonna be good for my experience. Run with QB1 and everything, so I'll be getting a lot of reps. So I think it'll be good for me. Trying to find my role for the team to help them out.
Okay, Dev. Before we close out here, I need you to give me your top 5 receivers that you think are performing the best right now in the NFL. Don't gotta be in a current order. Or a particular order, but give me 5 of the best that you think is in the business right now.
All right, okay. Well, I gotta go with myself, man. I wouldn't be a competitor if I ain't put myself up.
I like that. I like that. I respect that.
So I gotta put myself up there. I don't care what nobody say. But all right. So that's me. I'm gonna have to put Julio up there, of course. I really like Keenan Allen's game. Big fan of Keenan Allen.
Good route runner.
Yeah, big fan of Keenan Allen. I love his routes and his movement he got.
There's 2 slots left.
I was watching AB since I was a youngin', so AB's good. Let's see who else we got.
Last spot. You got 1 slot left.
I got 1 spot left.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough. Man, that's tough.
It
Now,
is. It is.
I ain't trying to leave nobody out, man. I'm gonna have to go with my boy D Hop, man.
I like that.
Dog.
That boy D Hop can't be denied, man.
Oh yeah, that's a nice top 5 right there, though.
D Hop, man. Yeah, man.
Well,
D Hop got them hands for you.
Oh yeah.
Did he have a drop last? He didn't have one drop last year, did he?
Yeah,
I
some
seen
crazy
a stat like
stat.
that. Yeah, like 115 receptions.
Yeah, I don't think he had. Did he have a drop last year? I don't think he did.
Stick 'em.
I don't think so, man.
Got
Yeah,
them
he's
stick 'em.
yeah, sticky.
Stickies.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I appreciate you coming on to the 5-1 Huddle podcast and doing this interview. We wish you the best. I'm rooting for you. You already know, bro.
Definitely.
For next
Good
season.
luck.
Before we go, man, go ahead. Shout out to social media so people get a follow and check you out. And follow you next season.
Yes, sir. My Instagram is Gray with 3 Y's. That's EGRAYYY. And yeah, that's pretty much my Instagram.
Yep.
My Twitter. I think my Twitter is Gray10 or something like that. But yeah,
Okay.
go ahead, give me a follow. Watch out for me this year. Got big things coming. And I appreciate y'all boys for having me on the show, man.
Oh man, thank you.
Appreciate it, Dev. Thank you, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
So let's get into some NFL news this past week. We got the Eagles Dlane. I'm gonna let you get into it. Talk about your team, man. What's the big
I gotta
moves?
talk about my teams. Who was it? My boy Miles out there. He asked me to talk about my squad. I got my little cuz Trap. He an Eagles fan too. So definitely gotta talk about my guys, man. Howie out there making moves. Howie Roseman, I think one of the best GMs in football, if not the best. Him and Bill Belichick neck and neck. We stole Jordan Howard. Let's talk about Jordan first. We stole Jordan for what? 5th round, 6th round pick. At least over 900 yards past 3 seasons. I think he's gonna be everything Ajayi wasn't for us. I think he's a little more solid, a little more tough. Doesn't have the injury concerns like Ajayi. And I just think he's a great second half back, and more so a second half of the season back. Like, he's gonna wear on you. He's big, about 225, probably bigger than that, 230. He's thick. Got solid hands. I just like the pickup for us. What you thought about the Howard pickup, Zay?
How I feel about the Howard pickup, I loved it. I believe it. Like I said, Roseman, the best GM behind Bill Belichick, definitely. I don't think that's a debate. And I think I'll say this. What I liked about Howard, he's a big back. I believe he complements the offense perfectly. The Eagles, they've had, I wouldn't say a running back issue because they won a Super Bowl, but when they won the Super Bowl, they had that big back and Blunt. Mm-hmm. And they had a array of running backs. I think they're getting back to that. And that's what they were missing last year. A lot of people are like, why are the Eagles struggling, this and that? Yeah, the running game wasn't there. And to be successful in the NFL, you either got to have, like we talked in the show before, you got to have 3 backs that can do one of everything. One that can run up the gut, one that can catch, and one that's balanced. The Eagles, they had that. They had Corey Clement. He's that balanced guy, a little bit of everything.
I like Corey.
They had Blunt, or I could run up the gut for you. And they had that Ajayi, like, okay, I'm quick, I can catch, I get out the space. So I believe the Eagles are getting back to that. Howard, to me, is a 3-down back. They can complement Corey Clement. And the draft is a deep running back draft. You can get that fast home run hitter that you need, out the backfield. So the Eagles, that was a great move. And then
that's what I had down, Zay, for our needs in the draft. I had middle linebacker, running back, and corner/safety. But with Howard, we still can get one though. I got that down, so we still could use
like a
nice change of pace back. Top, But we definitely don't need another big one. Like I said, he's our grinder for sure. He's gonna wear on people. How you feel about the DJ going back to Philly, man?
More, I like it's cool going back where he started. And a lot of times, it's rare in football that you see kind of sentimentals. Players going back to the team that drafted them. It's not like the NBA, MLB where you get those home goings. So D-Jack, it's a unique situation. I think it's real cool. And it fits a need for the Eagles. Like, let's just say D-Jack, wasn't there. This fits a need. D-Jack can still run. And I think it's going to
he led the league last year.
And Roseman, he addresses that speed receiver. He went from Torrey Smith to Mike Wallace. Now he brings in D-Jack. He has that speed guy to take off the top to complement Alshon Jeffrey. They made 2 real good moves last week. Those are 2 sneaky moves. Some people might say, not high on the radar, but those moves are going to help the Eagles definitely in the playoffs and late in the season.
I think like you said, the players being able to come back to where they got drafted at is sentimental. But more so for DJ's case, it's the way my dude was pushed out, man. Because my Eagles fans know I'm not a big fan of Chip Kelly, at least not his stint with us. But I don't like how he got my guy up out of there, man. And man, I want us to bring Shady back too, man. If we can, bring the whole gang back. Bring Vic back. I need my man Macklin just retired. We need to bring Mac back, man. That whole squad. I feel like we won a ring for them when we got that ring 2 seasons ago. But some more Philly news from my Eagles. We also have moved Michael Bennett. We already know that, but we got Barnett coming back, so I think we'll be fine up front. But yeah, with the D-Jack pickup, man, I love it. I think he'll be great on the other side of Alshon. Stretch that top off the defenders. We still got Aguilar, and then what people keep sleeping on. I sent it to your inbox. You gonna show some respect to Zach Ertz, man. Kelsey is nice, but I'm a Zach Ertz fan. And our young boy is nice, too. The people be sleeping on Dallas Goedert. He can ball, too.
Oh, he's a beast.
So, Wentz got an array of weapons. North Dakota State. Yeah, the one that wins every year. Bisons. Yeah, so my boy Wentz, man, I think he finally has an offseason. He can train a little more. You know, the previous offseason, he was coming off an injury. He's coming off one now, but I don't think it's as serious as the last one. So, he's able to train more. Hopefully, coming into the season with all these array of weapons, we can do something. I got us winning the division, and if I'm being real biased, you know, I got us winning the Super Bowl. We'll give our takes for that later. But yeah, that's all I got for my Eagles.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we can't talk about NFL news without talking about the retiring of Gronk this past week. 9 years in the NFL of, almost pure dominance. I saw a crazy stat with talking about how good Gronkowski was. He played in 16 career playoff games. In those 16 playoff games, he had 82 catches, 1,100 yards, and 12 touchdowns. That's a Pro Bowl season. That's an all-pro season for a tight end. So it shows the dominance not only in the playoffs, regular season, also in the playoffs.
When it counts.
Yeah, good dude. It showed they saved all his money, about $50 million in the bank. So he got to retire on his terms, not when his body
got
fell.
2 contracts out of that organization.
Yeah, 2, maybe 3. Yeah, 2
restructuring.
Yeah, 2 restructuring. Yeah. So Rob, he's gonna be missed. A fun personality. I don't really see how you can hate on a guy like Rob. Came to work, fun player to watch, goofy dude, and he will be missed.
Uncoverable. Shoot, the man was uncoverable, big as hell. The best job that I seen that I used to like who guarded him was Talib and Chris Harris when they had that little tandem when they was trying to. I think they beat them that year because they neutralized them a little bit. But yeah, you can't really put nobody on Gronk, man.
I believe Gronk though.
Gronk in his prime.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He's the last true tight end and the great tight end, true blocking and catching tight end.
That's what I'm saying, man. You disrespecting
Ertz.
My man blocks. And my man really run routes. That's why I like Ertz.
Ertz is to me the second best tight end in the game, maybe third. He's elite. He's an elite tight end. Catches the ball very well. He don't block. I watched him. He don't block. And it's okay.
He's not blocking inside. It is okay because most of these tight ends, they use them
You got tight ends are really, now you have a blocking tight end. And let's talk about NFL. It's like 3 teams that have a fullback on the NFL. Yeah. So the fullback position has turned into the blocking tight end position. So now you have players on a team that are blocking tight ends and receiving tight ends. We don't have all right, you can put your hand in the dirt and you can go catch. We don't have that anymore. The closest tight end after Gronkowski to that is Kelsey. Kelsey is willing to block.
He's willing to block.
And he's
I think it's equal. I just think it's equal between them two because I seen Kelsey and Ertz not really want to.
But you know who I put over Ertz?
Inside, though. And when we say inside, we talking about like them wham blocks and coming inside, hitting the nose tackle. Gronk was doing that because he's big as shit. But come on. Them two. That's what I'm saying. So
Ertz is my third best tight end.
It's cool. What you got? Kittle,
yeah. You break the all-time receiving record tight end.
That's 1 year.
Wait, look at his QB.
Had the most receptions.
Look at his QB. Look at his QB.
Who he had this
Kittle.
year? I don't remember the
exactly.
name.
He had Moeller. Moeller, C.G. Beathard.
Yeah.
And he had Jimmy for 2
games.
games.
Had 100 and some receptions this year. Ertz, man.
What's wrong with being the top 3 tight end? What's wrong with being the top 3 tight end?
We need number one.
So if you got Odell, Julio, and AB, and I say, you know what, Odell, your third best receiver. No one's gonna get mad.
Settle. He will.
He won't. Yeah.
He not. Yeah, he ain't settling for third, man. But it's fine. They want to hate. It's good. Okay. Like I said, I think it's equal what they blocking, and I think. So you think Kelsey run better routes than Ertz?
I don't think he runs better routes.
He don't. And I
don't think overall
his hands is about the same. That's what I'm saying. So where I see the separation is, I see I see Ertz run better routes. I think they do everything else the same.
And I say Kelsey, he's bigger.
They about to.
He scores more. He scored more touchdowns.
He's bigger. Don't he look slimmer on film though, or like on tape when you watching him? And Ertz look more of a bigger guy. I think Travis taller than him for sure. But I'm talking about body frame. Travis don't look that big to me.
He doesn't look that big. Travis Kelce is 6'5", 260.
Look like that.
You don't look like that.
I see the 6'5". I don't see the 260. And then
so for all the listeners,
pull up Ertz.
Okay, I'm just going for the listeners. I'm just going to read you Travis Kelce's stats real quick. Okay, I'm just going to build it out there. And it's not even saying he's blocking.
Let me pull up my man's stats.
Pull up Ertz. I'm going to pull up Travis Kelce. And when you guys listen to this, go ahead. Please comment on the YouTube and say who you think is better, Ertz or Kelce.
My Eagles fans flood this.
So let's get it. 2014, 67 catches. You know, he come in his first year serving. 67 catches, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. Next year, 72 catches, 800 yards, 5 tugs. 85 catches, 1,100 yards, 4 tugs. And he had an 80-yard touchdown. Big boy can move. And he had another year, 83 catches, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. And everybody, you know what he did last year? 103 catches, 1,300 yards. 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. Let me hear Ertz, man. This ain't
like I said, man. My man broke the reception record for tight ends. My man had 116 last year. 116 receptions, 1,100 yards and some change. Hold on. What we averaging over here? Because that's big for tight ends. We know that. Besides them being security blankets, you know, what he averaging over there, like, as far as his per catch? What we got over there for
13 yards per catch.
13. Last season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My young boy had that, you know.
Okay,
in one of his seasons.
And for the career, he averages 12.8, which is extreme.
Why are you hating on Ertz, man? Ertz is a big guy.
I seen Ertz personally.
I know. Yeah.
I will say this. Let me say, I root for Ertz. Yeah, I root for Ertz. I seen Ertz personally play. My freshman year in high school, I was at San Leandro High. I saw Zach Ertz beat the football team single-handedly playing tight end. And then during the basketball season, the playoffs, by the way, he went to Monte Vista.
Somebody told me he can hoop.
He shut down Jared Cunningham, who played in the NBA.
Ooh.
He shut him down. I'm saying, who is this white boy? He is an athletic freak.
Balling.
So Zach Ertz,
white boys be balling though. Him and Kelsey.
There's nothing wrong with being called the third best tight end in the world.
Hold on, and I'll be on my Stephen A. tip with this one. I'm not finna let you get away with third. Say second, and we not ending this segment unless you say second. I'm not about to let you put Kittle in front of my dude because I need to see your resume. What's your resume? How long have you been doing this? My guy put back-to-back seasons together. Can we see it again?
I'll give you
NFL records out here. He need to do that again.
Okay, so I will just say this. I'll give Ertz second for his productivity and how long he's been doing it longer than then Kittle. But by next year, Kittle will be the second or the best tight end in the league because you don't just come in your second year and break the tight end record like that.
Shanahan, you got an offensive wizard, so you know Shanahan calling play. They didn't have nobody on the outside, so they calling all plays for him.
And right? I'm throwing him the ball.
That's fine. I know. I'm just saying though, they calling, but it don't matter if you got a raw ass coach to scheming some stuff up for. He gonna get you the ball.
That's true. I mean, Ertz's second best tight end in the league. I'm giving it to Kelsey.
Like I said, this is why I know my dude. This the year of separation. That's what we calling it for Ertz because he gonna separate because we gonna get Wentz back for a full year and he might even break the 116 reception record.
That's true.
You know Ertz is gonna. You know Wentz gonna feed that boy.
Definitely. I mean, before we get out here, I'll give Ertz his second. But let's get into the Raiders. They had a couple pickups this week. I think were some of their bigger pickups even than the big names they picked up earlier with the Trent Browns, ABs, and so they signed Brandon Marshall. I think that was a great pickup. You have a legit linebacking core right now with Brandon Marshall, Burfict, and one of our either draft a guy or Marquell Lee from last year. We picked up Isaiah Crowell. He's a good back. He averaged 4.8 yards a carry last year. Can catch the ball. I watched him play. He's a hard runner, quick feet. That's nice. I think this also what a lot of people don't see with this Crowell signing. Shout out to Marshawn Lynch. This ends his time in Oakland, I believe. I think Marshawn just goes on, finally retires, and we move on from there. So I'm excited about the Raiders. Running backfield. We're gonna have Crowell, Rashard, Warren, who was on the IR last year as a rookie. So we're gonna have him back. I'm pretty sure we draft a guy. So I'm excited about the moves the Raiders making. How do you feel about it, Dlane?
What are you excited about? What are you excited about, Zay? In the backfield. What?
No, I'm excited about our moves.
I'm not. I'm talking about particularly in the backfield. What are you excited about? I'm not knocking Isaiah at all. Good back, solid back, 4.3 career yards per carry. You know, he can catch. He ain't really a catcher. He can catch a little bit. But like I said, in today's NFL, and we talked about it, you gotta have the tandem. But if you don't got the tandem, you got Rashard. He's solid, but he's just solid. He's a punt returner, right? He's the punt returner, right? 30.
What running back led the league in catches last year? Let's ask the room. We got my radar guy, our sound engineer John is over here laughing.
Ball down all year. That's all he gonna do anyway. We already know that.
He led the league in receptions. That means he can
Carl,
catch.
The guys on the outside, you don't have nobody on the outside. All y'all got is Cook in the running back.
Okay, so
that's who's getting all his receptions.
Why didn't Sean McCoy lead the league in catches then?
Who? Sean McCoy?
Yeah, the Bills had nobody. The Bills had nobody.
Forcing it with the rookie. You got to try to throw the ball. You know that. You got to try to get the rookie some experience. But with Carr and them boys, all he had was Cook and Rashard, and that's why he never threw over like 300 yards. Every week I looked up, Carr barely was throwing over 300. He was throwing like 270, 2-something every week. With completing
Dlane, I can't let you lie on this podcast.
Bro,
Derek Carr
had a lot of high completions.
Derek Carr threw the most yards of his career last year, and averaged the most yards per attempt last year. So I can't let you lie on this podcast. Pull it up. Pull it all up. Look it up.
I gotta pull that up.
Read the dictionary.
He had high completions. I seen games of like 22 for 24, but he was throwing not throwing for 300, 400.
And he was throwing to 40-year-old Jordy Nelson and me.
Jordy ain't 40-year-old. He ain't really got 10 years fully in the league. Why you gonna knock Jordy like that?
His injuries make him old. Derek Carr threw for the most yards ever in his career and had most yards per attempt. I seen him ball in
the second half. He for sure had a great. Yeah. He finished the season great for sure. But I gotta pull this up.
And the reason I was commenting on, I'm sorry about the backfield.
7.3 yards per carry.
That's really
19 and 10. Where's that yards? That's what I was looking for. Go ahead.
It's over 3. Look for the yards per game.
It's not over 3.
I want to see your face.
On that? You want to bet on some push-ups? It's not over 3.
I'm gonna push-ups right now.
All right, let's see.
Hey, for the listeners.
Hey man, hold on.
I am the stat god. Remember that. I am the stat god.
I don't know why I'm even playing with him like this.
Here we go.
Hey, we laid that down in pod 1.
Dlane need to work on his chest a little bit. He'll be all right.
Let's see. Hold on. We're finna pull it up right here. Okay. I don't want to. I don't want to pull it up. We're going to have to do the numbers on it then.
No.
I don't see it unless you can find it.
I'll find it real quick for y'all.
You know I'm talking yards per game, right? Yeah. But he did have 68. I remember him completing a lot of passes, man. Man almost completed 70%.
So all you do is simple. How many yards he passed for divided by 16? That's simple.
There you go. That's what I was saying. We got to do the math on it because it's not right here.
Here we go.
For 449. 40-49. That's what he threw for.
All right, so we're doing the math right here for the listeners. Dlane about to have some push-ups. Just off the top of my head, because if you do the 4, yeah.
I feel like it might be right there. He must have been balling in the second half. I remember he had a big second half. I just remember that first half being hella shitty.
It was terrible in the first half. He was getting used to
and I'm telling you, I just stopped watching y'all, but like that's what I'm saying. He must have really lit up the second half. 19-10 ain't all that to be impressed by either, bro.
It's not.
But like I said, I like him though. I liked him a couple seasons ago before he got hurt with the fibula, and like I said, I think he's gonna have a bounce back year this year with the right situation with AB and Gruden.
Here you go. Oh dang, he averaged 250 yards per game passing.
Give me my 100.
I owe him 100 push-ups.
Give me my. This is he hit it because he be with 4L training our boy Mayo. Yeah. You better hit them push-ups.
This is a rare moment for me.
Mayo, make sure Zay hit them push-ups in the morning for me.
I lost. It's all right, man. So, hey, Dlane, I'm giving you the win. He got me in the stat. I took an L. I can't go undefeated. It's all good. But, man, thank you all for tuning in and listening to the 5-1 Huddle podcast. Again, it's episode 7. Appreciate y'all. Give us feedback. Go ahead and go on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. We're on Apple Music Podcast. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud. And tune in, man. Give us your feedback. Listen, share it. We appreciate it. And we out, man. Thank you.
Still went for it. It's time to change it.